Welcome to KXAN News Today. Here are your Wednesday morning headlines. 17 people are without homes after an apartment fire. This happened in southeast Austin yesterday afternoon. Firefighters say this fire spread to 10 units. This was at the Array Apartments off Burton Drive near Old Torf Street. The cause still under investigation, but the fire department suspects it's accidental.
You can meet the finalists who want to be in charge of the group that keeps Austin's green spaces up to par. City is hosting a meet and greet with Parks and Rec Department Director, the candidates, at 6 o'clock this evening at the Conley Guerrero Senior Center.
And a new HEB is opening today in Pflugerville. This is off East Pflugerville Parkway and 130. The grand opening at 6 this morning. The first 200 customers get a little goodie bag out there.
And today brings the first of two cold fronts within the next week. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sally Hernandez.
And I'm Tom Miller. Meteorologist Kristen Curry here tracking what this could mean for us.
Yes, managing expectations. There's no rain, but cooler weather. A little bit cooler to finish the week. So let me show you what's going on as we start the day together. Our West Shore home camera there. Looking out over the skyline, clear conditions, no fog. We can see even a few stars if we look hard enough up top. Temperature wise, we're doing just fine, seeing 50s and 60s out there this morning. 58 Georgetown, 63 Llano, 63 here in Austin. Temperature is running a little bit warmer than yesterday. This is expected and typical ahead of a cold front. That air gets squeezed. We see a little bit of a warming trend before that drop in temperatures. So expect temperatures to be on the warmer side, not only this morning, but this afternoon too, going with a high of 86, not too far from the 83 we had yesterday. Northwest winds behind that cold front at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So dry skies expected through the rest of the work week, but still on track to see the potential for some rain chances with our next cold front. That's going to arrive sometime early this week, and it's also going to pack a bigger punch when it comes to our temperature drop. We'll take a preview and then dive into that temperature drop with both cold fronts and the rain chances behind cold front number 2 coming up in your first warning forecast.
Thank you, Kristen. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is going to be part of President-elect Donald Trump's administration. Just last night, Trump named the billionaire to join former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy as the leaders to run an office that is currently not even part of the president's cabinet. This is going to be called the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, on social media, the president-elect released a statement that said both men will, quote, pave the way for my administration to dismantle government bureaucracy and slash excess regulations. Musk is also quoted saying that this will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people. And that was a quote. A new report highlights success stories of getting people off the streets of Austin.
Yeah, this shows that the downtown Austin Community Court has seen a huge uptick in people using its services. In one case, a missing person from Illinois living with mental illness on the streets of Austin, reconnecting with family and getting help back home.
Here is a quote. The effort and dedication of the court allowed me to get off the street, find a treatment center in my hometown. And I have since celebrated over a year of uninterrupted sobriety. I'm working now in a pre-apprenticeship program with an interest in a new local trade unions. So that's from somebody who went through the program. Now, the community court saw a 261% increase in cases filed in court last year, the last fiscal year. It also started a mobile court pilot program in 2024 that resulted in 929 court case checks, 141 docketed court cases, 93 warrants that were cleared. It worked so well, City Council turned that pilot into a permanent program.
The data is incredibly clear. If individuals are connected to case management services and other resources, they're much more likely to resolve their housing crisis without things escalating for them or more barriers coming in their way, like additional justice involvement.
That allowed it to leverage the funding to apply for federal grants. Next week, Austin City Council is going to vote to accept more than $1.3 million. And this money would allow the community court to partner with more local agencies and service providers to expand its work. The report also found more people are willing to walk into the downtown Austin Community Court for help. Since 2023, it's seen a more than 30% increase in people using this walk-in case management program. It's roughly 72 people per day voluntarily walking through its doors.
Austin city leaders are outlining their plan to make a I-35 reality, a capped interstate, just weeks after TxDOT celebrated the groundbreaking of its 8-mile freeway expansion near downtown Austin. The Austin Mobility Committee is going to discuss the city's cap and stitch vision tomorrow. It's a plan that details more than 100 pages worth of feedback and analysis on the proposed highway coverings and the cross-street connections linking East Austin with downtown. City leaders are considering using more than 26 acres of public land for amenities like entertainment, recreation space, public art, local vendors, parkland, and some markets. And our digital reporter Kelsey Thompson has a closer look at those project details and when Austin City Council could adopt the plan online right now at KXAN.com.
Austin's Rainey Street is about to get a bit more crowded and louder. And this time it's because of construction. Austin Energy going to add an underground electrical duct bank. This protective system will house electrical lines from the Rainey Street substation. Austin Capital Delivery Systems held an online community meeting last night. People involved in that project went over some of the updates, including the impact from that construction that started this month.
There's going to be noise, there's going to be vibration, there's going to be dust. And we'll try to control and minimize all of that.
Work on phase 1 is expected to be complete next June.
Welcome back, everyone. Professional women's basketball could make its way to Austin one day. There's a campaign to bring the Women's National Basketball Association here.
And there's a former NCAA champ in Texas Longhorns standout, Fran Harris, who's spearheading this push. She wants Austin to get the WNBA's 16th team. Right now, there are 12 teams playing. The Golden State Valkyries joining the league next year. Then in 2026, Toronto and Portland are debuting their teams.
And one of the biggest challenges for Austin could be finding a place for a practice facility. But Harris says the group behind the bid is actively looking at all the scenarios out there.
We've checked all the boxes. We've got an amazing arena here. We've got the fandom. We've got the corporate environment for sponsorships and partnerships.
According to the Sports Business Journal, Austin is among the candidates alongside Nashville and Philadelphia, Houston, Denver, Orlando also competing, and they're looking at a few other cities.
Adding some depth here, there's another pipe dream for Austin sports fans. A Major League Baseball team. Earlier this year, Austin Baseball Commission held a launch party detailing how to bring Major League Baseball into Austin. The founders of that organization say Austin has what it takes to land a team.
Because we are a larger city with greater economic viability, it's important that people know that we are in this fight and that if we play our cards the right way, we have a significant advantage over those other cities involved.
Major League Baseball also looking into Nashville, Orlando, and Portland.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning, all. Happy Wednesday. Destiny, not the child, but controlling destiny. Texas, they control theirs in football, meaning if they win the rest of their regular season games, they're going to make the SEC championship game. What they don't necessarily control is where they'd rank in a possible college football playoff appearance, but getting a better idea as the season goes on. Tuesday night, the second reveal of the college football playoff rankings. Texas up to number 3 from number 5. It's because a couple teams lost. Ohio State and Oregon are the 2 teams in front of Texas, but they're in the same conference, the Big Ten. So Texas, as of now, number 2 team in the country. A reminder, Texas Game Day is the official pregame show of Texas football. Airs every week 1 hour before kickoff. This Saturday, it's Texas and Arkansas at 11 a.m. from Fayetteville. So we're at 10 a.m. Jonathan Thomas will host alongside Dan Neal and Alex Okafor. A lot of things to break down. I'll have the report from Fayetteville as well. To hoops, City of Chicago. They're known for good basketball. Chicago State University, which you may have just heard of, they're not necessarily known for good basketball. Probably other things I'm not necessarily familiar. The Cougars did take their talents to Austin a night ago, but before basketball, it was the soccer team that was honored for Texas, the first Longhorns group to win an SEC championship. Longhorns dominating early 7-0. Then the outstanding freshman Trey Johnson knocks down a triple. Couple minutes later, it's a transfer. Arthur Kaluma inside wants to throw down the hammer. A little fancy lay-in will do. Then it's 40-11, folks. That score is not wrong. Zarek Onyema goes Mike Wazowski. Put that thing back where it came from. Shout out those of you that understand the reference. Then just after that, highlight of the night, Jordan Pope, alley-oop off glass to Trey Johnson as well. Texas, a dominant win over Chicago State. They get back over 500, 105-58. They're back home later this weekend, trying to keep the winning streak going. That's it for Morning Sports. We'll send it back over to you.
Noah, thank you. All right, how about this? 3 iconic toys are the new inductees into the National Toy Hall of Fame. Can you guess which ones? Well, they're right there. But if you're listening on the podcast, how about the My Little Pony, Transformers, and the Phase 10 card game join Toy Box royalty? My Little Pony, obviously, one of the contenders that made it to the top, came out in 1983. The Hasbro discontinued it back in 92, made a comeback in 2010 and again in 2021. And then Transformers, first introduced to a U.S. audience in 84, inspired the toys, the games, the movies, and more. And then the final inductee, Phase 10, first created in 1982, challenges players to create sets of matching cards or runs of sequential cards. I have to say, I'm not familiar with that one.
Same.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, nothing.
And I'm like, Uno? Like, is that similar?
That I know.
That I conquered the
bet.
entire household.
Yeah, there are people familiar with it who are probably rolling their eyes right now.
Sorry. I know My Little Pony.
Exactly.
I do too. That one definitely was part of my childhood.
Yes.
Let me show you what's going on with your forecast. Radar completely quiet across the state of Texas this morning. Let's take it down to Georgetown, really up to Georgetown from our perspective here in Austin. We've got clear skies on our EWO Kubota weather camera. Things look pretty good. Temperature-wise, sitting at 63 in Austin with calm winds and humidity currently sitting at 87%. A little more humidity today ahead of the cold front that does drop the humidity later this afternoon. So that's going to happen around midday for us here in Austin as far as that change goes. You're noticing, though, the temperatures are still quite warm from the upper 60s this morning to the mid 80s once we hit this afternoon. The cooler air behind the cold front more noticeable tonight into tomorrow morning for the majority of us. The only exception could be some slight cooling trends picking up in the hill country, but that's the far northwest hill country. You'll still see the majority of us expected to reach the 80s today, but I think those 70s that we'll find probably up toward northern San Saba, maybe even Mason County, will become much more of a trend tomorrow. 80s today, 70s tomorrow and Friday, and those 80s make a quick comeback here Saturday. The return of the southerly winds brings up the humidity and the warmth. Putting on your radar, Friday morning will be cold. It'll be our coldest morning of the next 7 as we're looking at forecast lows in the 30s and 40s across Central Texas. So make sure you know where that jacket is. It's been a while since we've had to break those out. But Friday morning is when I expect the coldest of the air behind cold front number 1 to really settle in here. As far as cold front number 2 goes, we're going to start to see some moisture come in out ahead of it. And that's going to begin Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Cold front itself moves in on Tuesday. So it's 2 different cold fronts. That second one actually looks a little bit more powerful. So this first cold front, yes, it brings cooler temperatures, but not much else. If I show you what's going on Friday, we're going to see a nice day Friday, chilly start with sunshine in the afternoon. And then we see the cloud cover starting to increase late Saturday into Sunday. Cold front's going to near our area Sunday, Monday into Tuesday morning. That's where we have some scattered showers and storms possible. Behind it, clear skies, but much colder temperatures, it looks like. So that would take us just beyond the 7-day forecast. Speaking of, 7 days shows that 80s will be the trend today with the 70s tomorrow and Friday. We talked about the fact that Friday morning looks chilly in the 40s this weekend. We're going to start with some rain chances on the lower side Sunday, bump those up to 50% on Monday. And then Tuesday, temperatures will start to fall in the mid 70s with drier skies. And then as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday, some of the coldest air of the season so far. So here's your first warning. Come middle of next week, we're going to be looking at big time impacts of this cooler air. High temperatures in the 50s and 60s, your low temperatures widespread 30s and 40s. Again, this will be middle of next week. So just know that this is your first warning that cold air is coming.
KXAN investigation found a Texas school district took more than a month to respond to allegations of a sexual assault between students on a school bus.
Investigator Kelly Wiley reports internal records from the incident also reveal questions about how the state's legal battle over Title IX impacts school training and how to handle sexual misconduct claims.
Last school year, Brianna O'Neill's son got off the bus, came home, and told her someone had inappropriately touched him. Records show O'Neill quickly called Hutto ISD's transportation department. She said she was told someone with Title IX would contact her. Title IX is a federal law requiring schools to respond promptly to claims of sexual assault or harassment. But 32 days after O'Neill reported what her son said happened to him on the bus, she says she still had heard nothing from the district's Title IX coordinator.
And I just kept calling transportation every day, every couple of days, like, hey, this happened, like nothing's changing, this is still going on. Never heard from anyone at Title IX.
That's when she left a voicemail for the transportation department saying, I've not heard from anyone and we're still having problems with the student. Email records show the Title IX coordinator was informed about the incident on the bus the day O'Neill first reported it. But records show it was only after that voicemail that she heard back and they met.
She had printed out what the Title IX coordinator's job is. Came home, we reviewed it, and very clearly it says, if a Title IX incident is reported, they're supposed to reach out to both families within a reasonable amount of time. She didn't do that.
O'Neill eventually filed a Title IX complaint, and in a letter, the district's then interim superintendent said the district determined that the Title IX coordinator did not act promptly to contact her with supportive measures, nor did they explain the process for filing a formal complaint. The interim superintendent said the district would reimburse her for her son's therapy. They also said changes were already being made to avoid similar missteps in the coming years. But when O'Neill said she asked what they meant,
they kept saying, because of privacy, we can't tell you what that means.
The district sent KXAN a link to its Title IX page with a new person listed as the program coordinator. The district declined to interview with us, but said in a statement, while all Title IX concerns are thoroughly investigated, some reports may not meet the specific criteria or rise to the level of a Title IX violation as defined by federal regulations. Nevertheless, we address each report with the utmost seriousness.
It was mishandled.
Heidi Goldstein with the nonprofit Stop Sexual Assault in Schools says concerns like O'Neill's are common across the country, where she says many schools don't have the funding or resources they need for Title IX investigations.
I think generally smaller districts have more trouble sort of massing what they need in terms of the investment and in terms of people who are knowledgeable to really handle this.
O'Neill has cut her losses. She's now removed her son from the district and enrolled him in an online program.
I'm very sad for my son. What happened to him on the bus happened. But the months since then and what they didn't do is 100% on them.
The records in O'Neill's case reveal something else. In a letter to the parents, then interim superintendent Dr. Cara Malone said regional education service centers, or ESCs, statewide had paused Title IX training at the time because of Texas's pending litigation involving the implementation of 2024 Title IX regulations in the state. She told O'Neill they were going to use a private vendor instead. We asked the Texas Education Agency about this. They told us that training was not officially paused, but they did confirm that some ESCs decided to postpone or not hold regularly scheduled Title IX training this summer. The agency said this was due to continued questions about what regulations would be in effect given Attorney General Ken Paxton's ongoing federal lawsuit challenging Joe Biden's Title IX changes. In Hutto, Kelly Wiley, KXAN Investigates.
Kelly contacted every ESC in our area and asked whether they'd pause training because of the state's federal lawsuit over Title IX.
At Region 13, which is the one that covers Hutto ISD, see behind us, told KXAN it postponed its Title IX trainings for districts that would have covered the new 2024 regulations. They did that in July. The region's leadership said it notified districts and gave them contact information for the trainers, but it has not provided Title IX training since. See what the other centers had to say on KXAN.com under the Investigates tab.
All right, well, in a little less than a month, the Notre Dame Cathedral will reopen. 5 years ago, a devastating fire destroyed parts of the historic building, and rebuilding took 2,000 oak trees from forests across Europe and more than $760 million. Ahead this morning on Today, how French leaders are planning for the December 8th reopening. Coming up, Donald Trump and Joe Biden face to face for the first time in 4 years. What to expect from their meeting later today. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for being with us. Hope you'll join us on air for that story. Find all our stories on our website, KXAN.com.